Okay, we're going to go on to public comment, but Brent, do you want to go get a picture? All right, we're going to move into our public comment. I just want to read some information first. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes per person. A comment can express simple support or dissent for regulatory systems. Individuals should not use the public comment to complain about personnel issues or attack or defame an individual. Speakers making a highly detailed or complex comment should also consider providing a written outline of their words to the board. Please remember that children may hear your comments. Be thoughtful and professional, and keep your comments appropriate for the general audience. We're going to start with our Zoom public that wants to speak. Susie Estrada, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Susie. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, hello board, good morning. I know it's been a while since the last meeting, so this might need some refreshing, but I would like to speak partially to requests that the board support the SHARP survey, but most importantly to ask that the board please look at past the havens that they have created in their own homes. In a perfect world, every child goes home to a loving family, a meal, and guaranteed safety that can be taken for granted. So much so that it is easy to forget that many don't get that. Consistently, we have had board meetings to bring up and discuss parent rights, about having parents read every question on the survey, or parents being afraid of children disclosing personal details to a teacher or administrator from their home life. As a child that grew up being told that what happens at home stays at home, this messaging of parental rights over the rights of children honestly scares me. In my home, there was conflict and abuse. Social emotional tools and SHARP surveys were not there to teach me that some secrets should not be kept, and there were no surveys that I remember to ask me about high-risk behaviors or identifiers that would signal a health crisis in my community. Looking back, all the cries for help were there, but still, I was invisible with the exception of one teacher who I still keep in touch with. Teachers need these tools and the trust on behalf of parents, students, and the community to be able to do their work. Even in the puzzle presentation we had just now, we heard about awesome cell tools and skills and methods that help build communities and improve productivity. I am remained in an abusive home, but knowing that one person saw me helped me to see my own potential and allowed me to be as successful as I am now. We can choose to censor and ignore the problem if we so want to, but let's not pretend that we are doing so for the best interest of all of our young people. I would like to stop with the what if scenarios and see what actually is and why these tools were created in the first place. We are on the same mission of safety for our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Strada. We appreciate that. Nicholas Willis. Sarah Jones or Renee Pintke.
Hi, I am here. Thank you so much.
Who do we have?
This is Renee Pinkney.
Okay, hi Renee, go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. I am Renee Pinkney, a Park City High School social studies teacher for the past 26 years, serving as the new UEA president. I am so excited to get to know you and work with you to protect the promise of public education for all of Utah's students. As students and educators head back to school this month, UEA would like to thank you for the work you do as board members. We recognize how much time, study, dedication, and commitment is required to serve on the board. On behalf of Utah students, families, and educators, we want you to know how much we appreciate you. UEA is committed to advocating for Utah's students, educators, and the teaching profession. One way we strive to accomplish this is through engaging in policy discussion to promote quality public education. In doing so, it is in the spirit of partnership with you as we work to strengthen public education and elevate the teaching profession. I look forward to working together with you to address the critical issues facing the education profession and our public schools. I left my classroom on June 3rd, a bittersweet moment to be sure, to serve as the UEA president. As I reflect on my colleagues and their students who are returning to school, I'm mindful of their experiences as educators navigating through a pandemic. Our educators and students need your support now more than ever. Thank you in advance for considering their needs as you engage in policy discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pinckney. We'll go to John Arthur. John?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Okay,
Good
thank
morning. Oh, thank you, Vice Chair Belknap. My name is John Arthur. I teach 6th grade here in Salt Lake City. So those are our biggest little kids. And I'm a proud member of the writing committee for our new elementary social studies standards. So as you head into the final stretch in the revisions process for these standards,
John,
I'd love to.
John,
Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you turn your mic up just slightly?
yeah. Let's see here.
Or Jerry, maybe you need to.
Let's see here.
That's
I feel
better.
like I'm on Zoom again. Can you
That's
hear me?
better. Yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see here. All right, so
We can start over. Here we go.
start over. All right, take 2. All right. You don't even need to count me in. So good morning again. My name is John Arthur. I teach 6th grade in Salt Lake City, and I'm a proud member of the writing committee for our new elementary social studies standards. And as you head into the final stretch in the revisions process for these standards, I'd love to answer the question a lot of folks have had: why are these standards so broad for our little kids? Well, I once asked my 6th graders, what is social studies? My kids wrote their answers on sticky notes that I read aloud to the class. I'll never forget, the very first note read, "The story of us." The story of us. I later learned that the student had tried to write the history of the US, but I like what he wrote more, the story of us. And as every public comment submitted for these new standards, some folks were worried that the most essential events, names, and dates in the story of us were left out. I'm here to tell you that those elements are critically important. They're still there, and there's a whole lot more to our story that needs to be told. It reminds me of the stunning images of the cosmos that were sent back by the James Webb Telescope. I don't know about you, but I was stupefied by the wonders I saw, and yet I wanted to see more. When I saw those pictures, I immediately wanted them to widen that lens, to turn it a little bit, to do something so we can see more of what's out there. And that's exactly what we've done with these social studies standards. We've widened the lens so our students can see more names, more faces, more dates and events that better capture the dynamic and kaleidoscopic brilliance that is the story of all of us. So as you consider your amendments and edits for these standards, I humbly ask that you keep in mind that each standard is like a spotlight on a stage. And when you shine a narrow light on specific names, faces, and events, you risk leaving whole communities unseen and standing in the dark. Seeing more doesn't mean you lose sight of what's important. It means more of Utah's children will see themselves reflected in these standards as they study and celebrate the accomplishments and contributions of all communities represented in our classrooms. In the words of maybe our greatest American, Bruce Lee, it's like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't focus on the finger or you'll miss all that heavenly glory. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arthur. Annie Massey, I don't know if you're here or if you're on Zoom. Annie?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hello, Annie. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Annie Massey. I'm a parent of 3 children and we live in the Davis School District. Today, I wanted to talk to you about student data privacy. Schools are authorizing the collection and disclosure of private student, parent, family, general information, and information that violates PURPA. This is being done with digital technology and instructional material choices that have increasingly neglected and abandoned proven effective paper-based instructional materials. This is also being done through written agreements, like in Davis School District with the Summit Learning Platform and with the Department of Justice. The FTC has raised concerns about this, and I can email you that information. There's a wide body of research that confirms both the harm and risks to student data privacy. DSD metadata dictionary alone confirms 172 entities are receiving data disclosures on minor children, their parents, and families. Adherence to certain laws like FERPA only expose and intrude on student, parent, family privacy. 53E 9202 directs the USBE to protect student, parent, family privacy to comply with FERPA protection. FERPA no longer protects students' privacy from disclosure. FERPA guarantees disclosures. What is missing from this law that could resolve the violations of privacy would be restoring legacy FERPA language that actually protects students' records from disclosures through explicit prior written parental consent and by adding existing parental rights code that directs the USBE to comply with parental rights, authority, and rights. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Massey. Appreciate it. Okay, Howard Stevenson.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine, Howard. Go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. Senate Bill 127 was sponsored in the last session by Senator Milner and Representative Last, and I believe that it has the greatest opportunity for increasing reading performance in our schools of anything that's ever been done in our history. And I look forward to its implementation, except for one part that I think is very disruptive to local control. During the debate in both committees, Senator Milner and others assured the committee members and the public that local control would be honored and that teachers would be given the space and grace and time to implement and learn the science of reading and to use the software effectively, which has been done for the last 10 years. I was the sponsor of the EISP reading software, and now I serve on Bridge Elementary's board. We have been given a reprieve to not have to accept the new software because we have been doing so well with the current software. We got 88% of our kindergartners at grade level this year. However, I'm hearing from other schools that they are being required to adopt the new software this fall. One component of the bill provides for change management training for principals, and that doesn't have to be completed until 2027. And I had no idea, and neither did the sponsors of the bill, know that this would be so disruptive to the current EISP reading software program. So I'm hopeful that other schools can be given the same reprieve that Bridge Elementary has. The squeaky wheel shouldn't get the grease. The standards should be applied to all schools, and they should be given the time necessary to adopt and train in the science of reading and to use the software with fidelity. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Kind of hard to call you that, Senator. So, okay, I'll go back to one other person who possibly might be on Zoom, Nicholas Willis. Okay, we will go to those who have expressed interest to speak in person. Terry Palmer. That would be great if there's enough space for you. Yeah, why don't we just have her sit down? It'd be easier with your computer, Terry.
Yeah, I haven't been this nervous since I got married.
Well, you're kind of walking down an aisle, so it's kind of the same thing.
And I lived through it, 6.9 earthquake, but you guys somehow are more scary.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me here and the opportunity to speak on Three Strands Global Foundation and the Protect Human Trafficking and Child Abuse Prevention Program. We are truly grateful for the thoughtful conversations we've had with staff and board members of this body. We have been tasked with creating human trafficking and child abuse prevention and we take that obligation very seriously. There are many human trafficking awareness programs, but it is not what we've been asked to do. Awareness increases knowledge, but does not increase skill set and/or response. The Protect School curriculums teach students to trust their inner voice, understand their boundaries, and recognize that they have the right to say no if someone tries to cross their boundaries. I believe the combined Protect training for school staff and parents, already approved by the Utah State Board of Education, combined with the student training materials, help to strengthen families and communities. An email was shared with you from a Utah survivor of trafficking at the hands of her parents. Her name is Kimberly. As one of the many contributors to our curriculums of those with lived experience, Kimberly was very happy that bus drivers were receiving the Protect Adult School Staff training. She told us that she often missed the bus going home, but no one ever asked her why she didn't want to go home. The school would call her parents, and she would be punished horribly. If she had known the words to describe her abuse and the characteristics of a trusted adult, she might have been able to escape the horrible trauma that has haunted her into her adulthood. With these trainings, everyone in the community, parents, school staff members, and children, know what to do when they see the signs of abuse and how to report it. We ask that you support the curriculum so that we can move forward to end or even prevent abuse of our most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Lexi Cunningham? Lexi, do you want to just come to the table as well? Sure. Thanks.
I think this is, okay, good.
Yep.
Vice Chair Belknap, members of the board, Superintendent Dixon, thank you for the opportunity. I'm here for two reasons. First of all, I bring greetings from the Utah School Superintendents Association. We'd like to thank you for all of your work, your leadership, and your commitment to students. While most people were having summer vacation, you have continued to work throughout the summer, and we really appreciate that. And we appreciate the support that you offer to our students and our schools. The second reason I'm here is just to respectfully ask that you approve the waiver on R277628 school libraries. Our districts have been working to write their policies to make sure that they are getting them in front of their boards. By extending the deadline from September 1st to October 1st, it will ensure that all of our districts can have their first reads and their second reads. We've talked about this policy at our June meeting and at our July meeting, and our districts are moving forward. Just extending the deadline a month will make sure that we can get that all completed. So when you're looking at agenda item 10, we hope you consider that. And again, thank you for all that you do, and I hope you have a great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. That concludes our public comment.